Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5, presented by Texas Beef House. Today, the top 5 easiest schedules in the P5. Yesterday, I did the toughest, so in order to, complete the cycle, I did the easiest. And Garrett, hop on the mic here real quick. Right. Just be like, after this, tell me how bad their fans are going to be to me when I say their schedule is easy.
Okay.
So when you hear the team, I'll ask you, Garrett, a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are they going to be that I said their schedule is easy?
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I want from you as the disembodied voice today. So number 5. All right. It's the Texas Longhorns. Now look, I know Michigan is on this schedule. I know Oklahoma and Georgia are on this schedule. But for a first year in the SEC, they really got dealt a pretty good deal. Outside of that, Colorado State, UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Florida, who had the toughest schedule, by the way, Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M. I just think that, yes, it's a tough schedule. Texas should never be accused of easy scheduling, and this is not their doing. They just won the first-year SEC lottery where Oklahoma lost it. Oklahoma was my second-ranked team with the toughest schedule last week, yesterday. Whatever, in the past. You guys get me. And Texas just, for a team that's big in the SEC for the first year, I mean, this is a pretty favorable schedule, and they've got the best roster. So, Garrett, thoughts on that, and 1 to 10, how mad they'll be?
I think you nailed it, honestly. I mean, Texas is always going to schedule a legit schedule, blue blood brands, because that's the matchups they like. I think given the move over to the SEC, you're already going to have the natural bias in the fan base. I think for the most part, a lot of the T-shirt fans, the people who really pay attention will know. But I would put it at about a 6 because people are going to have it in their head. We're going to the SEC. We're playing tougher competition. But if you really get down to the nuts and bolts of it, I think you can make a case that it is easy given the circumstances.
Right. I had a 6 on the rage meter. And look, I put Matthew McConaughey there. You can't be mad at that. Look at that guy. He's so cool. Number 4, Oklahoma State. I already hear Wet Blanket on the chat room enraged. But look, having an easy schedule is not necessarily a bad thing, and sometimes it's just how things come out, especially in this first year of mega conferences that we have now. Look, their schedule is South Dakota State, Arkansas, Tulsa, Utah, Kansas State, West Virginia, BYU, Baylor, Arizona State, TCU, Texas Tech, and Colorado. Not a lot of preseason ranked teams on that schedule, which preseason rankings mean very little, as we know. But when it comes down to who are the legacy teams that they're going to be playing and toughing it out against, and look, Bedlam's over, so Oklahoma's off the list, as we know. A game that they won, the last Bedlam, which I think is awesome for Oklahoma State. But look, that's a schedule that could easily be 9-3 or 10-2 if it goes right. Now, I don't think that's going to happen personally. That's my belief. I'm happy to be proven wrong by the Pokes on that one. But that's a pretty good schedule for the Cowboys in year one in the 16-team Big 12.
I think I would put that one at about a 3. I mean, you really can't argue with it. Having Texas and Oklahoma leave the conference, it's going to make everybody's schedule easier in theory. You were able to get the dub last year. I don't necessarily think Pokes fans are going to be mad at people calling their schedule easy. They seem like they kind of know their place in the Big 12. They're always going to be in the mix. How they get there, I don't think is really going to be that much of a concern to that fan base. I could be totally wrong. Wet Blanket probably will be pissed.
I don't know. They're the ones who are usually the maddest at me when I even criticize them slightly, so that's why I thought it might be higher. But look, Oklahoma State, if you guys don't go 8-4, 9-3, 10-2 with this schedule, then don't be mad at me.
Exactly.
Be mad at your team for that one. Number 3, Texas Tech. Look at that guy. He doesn't care what the record is. He's got 17 different kinds of alcohol in him. He's probably had 6 or 7 Jell-O shots. He'd probably do grain alcohol without a mixer right now. He's just having a good time. But Texas Tech's schedule, and again, I think Texas Tech is going to be a much improved team and should contend at least late in the year for a Big 12 title. I think that should happen. They should be in the running. But here's the schedule. It's Abilene Christian, Wazoo, North Texas, Arizona State, Cincinnati to start off. Like, that's a really good opportunity to have a really good record right off the bat. At Arizona, Baylor at home, at TCU, at Iowa State, Colorado, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia. Now, the last 2 games are probably the 2 toughest back-to-back that they have in the entire schedule. But Tech has a nice opportunity here to go on a run and maybe be like, they could be like 7-1 through 8 games if it all goes like exactly to plan. I guess 8-0 would be exactly the plan, but they could be 6-2, 7-1, 8-0 after those first 8 games. They really could if the talent is as good as Joey McGuire believes it to be, which he told us on the show just under a month ago.
Yeah, I kind of drank the Kool-Aid with Texas Tech last year, and I had them in the Big 12 championship, and it bit me. I'm going to be a little more patient with them this year. I like what the projection of Baron Morton. Obviously, they got to keep a quarterback healthy. That's been a struggle. You're going through there. You're talking about having to go to Ames and stuff. They struggled on the road last year, so I'm a little nervous. I need to see what they can do and build some consistency on the road this year.
Better on the road in year 2 under Joey McGuire than they were on year 1. So getting better in that space. So I think, but that's a very, very valid point. But I do think this is a schedule they have that could have them running to the top of the conference. Yeah. It's a favorable schedule. Maybe I shouldn't have said easiest. Maybe most favorable is the better title. But, you live, you learn. Que sera, sera. Number 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes. This schedule, look, there's some tough teams on it. I'm not saying that the tough teams I'm going to say aren't tough. But Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, new coach. Iowa, no offense. Oregon, first really genuinely tough premier mega Big Ten matchup there. An improved Nebraska team for sure, but let's be honest, I don't think anybody expects that to go the wrong way for Ohio State. Penn State, a team that they've pretty much owned and has a whole lot more to prove than Ohio State does. Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, and Michigan. I said on the triple option earlier today, I think this is the year that Ryan Day washes that stain off of him of being winless versus Michigan. I think Ohio State has no excuse, but the schedule certainly doesn't stand in their way. I would put Ohio State and Texas in the same region where they have some tough things that are going to be more difficult than a lot, but as the premier teams go up at the top, they've got pretty favorable schedules.
No, they really do. I think I don't know if Ohio State fans would get I don't know, maybe about a 5 on that. I think you could make a case, but given that schedule, I don't think they should really have any problem. I'm interested. I'm really excited about the game with Oregon. You nailed it with Penn State. They own Penn State. Now that you've gotten Harbaugh out of the way, your roster is better on paper than what Michigan has to work with. This is their year to make some really make up ground for what they've done in the past couple seasons.
And number 1, the Oregon Ducks. This, as you see here,
love that. That's perfect.
It's just a random Oregon student there. You see that? That's your typical Oregon football fan right there. Trent. The Oregon Ducks schedule in 2024. Idaho, Boise State, Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. I would say they kind of got first year in the Big Ten schedule like Texas got first year in the SEC schedule, for sure. And look, Oregon's going to be one of the best teams in the country. They can roll through these guys 12-0 and get in the playoff and and play Ohio State, which would be for the second time, and Ohio State could be 11-1, and they could play for a second time like they did last year with Washington. That could all come out, and we'll see who goes to the playoff. I think Oregon and Ohio State are definite playoff teams, so it's not indicative of how good they are and their potential to win the national championship. This is just like, if you want the smoothest landing, this is a pretty smooth landing on paper to start out. Now, things can always change, but I do think Oregon has huge potential to get on a real roll to start their Big Ten tenure.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me to think that Oregon's first year in the Big Ten, the schedule is significantly favorable than their final year. That murderer's row last year in the Pac-12, given the quarterbacks that they had to play, I don't think anybody really saw that coming. Oregon this year, I think if this is probably the best opportunity with the nucleus they've had to put themselves in position to compete for a national championship and finally get the dub. I got to see it to believe it first, though.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks for watching 365 Sports Today. Please keep Smokey in your thoughts tomorrow as he is undergoing surgery. We are off for the next couple of days while we do spring cleaning. And We're going to come back strong on Monday, hopefully with some new gadgets production-wise that we can roll out and you can enjoy on the show. But thank you for watching. If you're locally here in Waco, don't forget 365 Sports tonight on the CW at 10:30. And please, if you have not already, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. It is the lifeblood of everybody who's doing this kind of work on YouTube and on social media. So please do that. Like and subscribe to everybody that you do actually like. It means the world to us that when you do, and it means the world to us when you watch. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you on Monday.